A Florida State University program in interdisciplinary computing production.
Now, I don't know if I can do this successfully. Again, I wing it a lot of times in here, but let me show you a little tool that could be interesting if it works. I'm going to skip my updates for now. Let's go to our demo site here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to all right, this is Firefox, View, the Web Developer Toolbar. No, I don't want that. What do I want? Firebug is what I want. Okay, good. That worked. Let's get rid of this because it's taking up too much room. So if you look back on your syllabus, there was a list of materials for the course. Firebug is one of those things listed. Now that you're in CSS, you might appreciate Firebug. Firebug allows you to analyze the CSS on any page you're viewing. All right, so right here, we have the website. I can come in Firebug, and by the way, we're actually looking at the code for FSU's website here. This is the HTML code. This is the style code over here. And we can open up the head, and now here's all the links and things. This is the actual web page code. We can open this full screen if we wanted to. But one thing you can do is you can click this little tool here. It says click an element in the page to inspect. So this is the inspector. I'll click this and I will click this paragraph right here. Okay, it shows me where that is in the HTML code. Not only that, but it shows me what CSS commands affect that paragraph. And this is a great example of cascading style sheets because in style.css, here is where the margins for that paragraph are established. .feature p, paragraph. So they're overriding the p command here. A little further down, this is in style.css again. This is .feature, and this is probably part of it. This is div. So this is for this whole area. So you can specify styles for particular areas of the page. All right, so here we're talking, this is where the font size and line height is specified. Here in style.css, this is where the font family is specified in the body tag. So this paragraph here that we're looking at is actually a combination of styles that are defined in 3 different areas of the page. And even within one style sheet, you have a cascading effect, because if you define the font to use in the body, so you redefine the body to say font type is this. Down below, you can say, for the paragraphs, though, I want the font type to be something different. So you're overriding a previous command. It's stopped. You're stopping the water flow of the cascade and saying it doesn't go here. You're diverting the flow to other elements on your page. That's the cascading part. This wasn't a good example. There are some good ones here, probably in the menu. Let's do another one of these things. All right, so I selected this. Look at this one. Yeah, so we're looking at this menu on a subpage. Left menu, list items. So this is in style level 2.css. Style level 2, style level 2. Well, they're all style level 2. I wanted to get you an example that uses multiple style sheets, but I'm probably going to be hard pressed to do that right now. Yeah, they've gotten too well organized with their style sheets now. They put things where they need to be. But websites, it's fun to play around with this because it just went away. So I want to pull out, and you can download. This is that's why we like to use Firefox, because they have great plugins. I guess Chrome can do this now too. Somebody told me recently.
You can just, you don't have to download anything for it.
it's inherent in Chrome. So look at, no, this is perfect. All right, so what did I click on? Wired or something? So look at this, what Firebug is showing you. They're showing you in home.css, this is where the color and the text decoration are defined. And then in global.css, the A tag is defined, but not this part because it's overridden in a different area. So you're not using, and this is great because sometimes you set a color or a font someplace and you go and look at it and you say, why isn't it working? You know, it's right here and you're looking at it, you're changing it, and why isn't it impacting it? Well, if you look here, it would say, well, it's not impacting it, dummy, because you've overridden it down here in this other place where you're defining the A tag. Now let's see if we can find that. Well, we're overriding it somewhere by one of these things. And here we're looking at global.css, home.css, so two CSS files. It really gets complicated as your site gets bigger. You have multiple CSS files. You can't remember what you did where. So it's good to keep this stuff organized as well. All right, onward. That's cascading. A little about search engine optimization. And they talk about the long tail on this one. And the long tail is a term that came up in web development a few years ago. And the idea is that if you were to graph the hits on any pages within your site, you'd find that your home page, your opening page, and the main topic pages get a lot of hits, right? But as you go deeper into the site, they have fewer and fewer hits, which is what you would expect. But that's what they call the long tail. Your primary sites, this is the graph here. Your primary pages in the site get tons of hits, and then it quickly goes downhill as you get into your lesser pages, and you have this long tail where you got a bunch of pages that just get a few hits, you know, a week, if that many. And the idea is, how are people going to find those pages? Because people don't want to click through long menus to find a page within the long tail. So that's where you get into search engine optimization, is how do you get people to find those pages within the long tail? And what I'll do is quickly run through this second presentation on search engine optimization, because it's a pretty cool topic. It's not a very long presentation, but it kind of breaks it out. And it also gives you some insight into Google's look at search engine optimization. So SEO, you can get a job making lots of money being a professional search engine optimizer, understanding how to get your page, your company's page, higher up in the ranks. And as a web designer, you can do this just by designing your page using good semantic language, using words that make sense, and organizing your content in a way that search engines can easily find, and other tricks. So SEO is the process of improving the visibility of a website or a web page in search engines via the natural or unpaid, organic or algorithmic search results. And there was a good story in the news. I wonder if I posted this one. I bet I did. Actually, I told you about this. I told you about the flower companies, right? All right, good. I don't have to go there again. By the way, Android's getting cooler all the time. The idea is that one of the primary ways the search engines figure out what goes first is through a popularity contest. So it's not, you can put as many words and key terms and things in your page as you want. It's not going to get you anywhere in the Google search results unless you have a whole bunch of other pages that link to your page. That's the idea, right? And that's where these flower companies went astray by paying all these different hosting companies just to put links to their page there. That's supposed to be illegal in this SEO world. So if your site is well formed, it lessens the possibility that you have inadvertently hidden important information while constructing your site. Talk about the long tail. Web search engines use web spiders or web crawlers, and essentially these are working 24 hours a day, all the time, going out, following links around the web and cataloging what pages are being linked and putting in this ginormous database. And Google, I mean, when you run a Google search, it doesn't go on the web and look for stuff. It goes to its database to figure out what the current state of things are on the web. Figures out what pages are linking to what. It ranks pages in importance now, and also in reliability. That's why the FTD stuff didn't work, because there were tons of pages to the florist sites, but they were all well known to Google as being scam pages. They didn't have, they were negative values in the list of reliability and trustworthiness. So Google looks at that as well now. And so a very high-ranked page on a particular topic that links to some other page automatically raises the level of value of that second page. So that's how it works. That's why if you're developing websites for a company, it behooves you, I don't think I've ever used that term in a lecture, it behooves you to go to well-known companies and say, hey, would you like to partner with us? If you can link to some of our stuff, we'll link to some of your stuff. Because that's what it takes. Good, legitimate sites that already have tons of traffic generating links to your page will put you up higher in Google's list. Now, what Google says, this is how Google suggests that SEO professionals get their pages elevated in their search results. Create unique, accurate page titles. Make use of the description meta tag. So there's a meta tag you can put in your header where you can put a description of what's on your site. Improve the structure of your URLs. We looked at that, how you can use natural words in your file names and folder names. Make your site easy to navigate. Offer quality content and services. Thank you, Google. Write better anchor text. Anchor text is your link pages, right? Your link tags. Use good language there. Use heading tags appropriately. These are all in Google's site for Search Engine Optimization Starter Guide. Optimize your use of images. So, and it's really important that you don't put important words within the graphics as part of the graphic element, because search engines won't ever see those words if they're part of a GIF or a JPEG image. And so if you do have images, use the alt tag to describe what's in the image with words, because search engines do automatically go to the alt tag in any image tag to see what that image is. So it's not only our blind users that need those alt images, it's search engines as well, or blind systems that can't see images. Be aware of no-follow links. No-follow links are ways to tell Google, don't look here. There's ways to actually send search engines away. Promote your website in the right way, as I mentioned. So internal factors, things that will help elevate your page in Google search results. Characteristics of the text and links within the page title, the content headings, the body text, the alternate text images, HTML tags, web links, internal and external, and the frequency and distribution of topical keywords. So primitive search engines try to figure out what the page is all about by counting the occurrence of words, So if they find, the occurrence of the word chocolate at tons of times in your site, they'll assume this is some kind of page about chocolate. So that helps as well. Although search engines are kind of more sophisticated than just that nowadays. The external factors are what I've already mentioned. Links to your site from reputable sites, pages. Something that we didn't say, that the author mentions, is place keywords strategically on the page in the golden triangle. Anybody remember what the golden triangle is on a page? Yeah, the top left corner. So Google looks at the things in that corner as being the most important to the site as well. Yep, nothing new there. Meta tags, here's one listed here. Allows you to add a description of your content. That goes in the header of your page. And sitemaps are also used by search engines. There you go, a quick update on search engine optimization. Another one bites the dust. Page structure is a short one. It's a good thing because time is fleeing by here. And actually, I was tempted in looking over this stuff to say, I think for Chapter 6, I'll just have you read this one. But I then found some things that were worthwhile talking about. Not that it's not all valuable, but it's talking about the different types of layouts and what to put in different areas of the page. And we kind of talked about some of this already in our intros. This opening quote I won't read to you. I'll give you the spirit of the thing. You know, serious designers, they want to do creative, different things. When it comes to the web, essentially, we're dealing with this paradigm where people expect where things should be, and as designers, we have to provide them with things where they expect them, essentially. And that frustrates some of us. And so what this quote says is your job isn't to whine about emerging commonalities, but to use them to create pages that are distinctive, natural, brand appropriate, subtly memorable, like that, and quietly but unmistakably engaging. So a lot of what we do to make our pages attractive has to do with providing content that people really want to read about in a way that's subtly memorable. So we're satisfying norms and user expectations. We're focusing on providing great content and services rather than fancy technology, and we're being consistent with our branding, essentially. We've looked at this image here. It talks about generally where people like to find things. This chapter goes into a little more detail about that, about what you typically find in a header. I'll let you read about that. It talks about what we typically find in scan columns. So I wanted to point out what I typically call sidebars is properly known as scan columns. It talks about what you typically find in a content area. I really don't want to go through this because I'm seeing your tired eyes out there. I don't want to go into too much detail here. And it talks about what should go into footers. Okay, these are well defined, and every designer understands it. They're no-brainers. It talks about different forms of internal page templates. One thing that's cool I can show you is that when you get into using tools for design, like Dreamweaver, if I want to create a new page, I can come up with a 2-column fixed left sidebar. I can come up with a 3-column fixed or a 3-column fluid with sidebars on either side. I can come up with a 2-column fluid with a header and footer with a right sidebar and a header and footer, and I can say create this. And we're looking at the code view. Here's the design view. There's what we have. I mean, it's all done for me, and the CS is all created for us. All the divs are there. So I mean, when we talk about standard, and there's you can go out there and just do a Google search for CSS page templates, and you'll find dozens of websites that say here are 12 commonly used page templates with CSS. Download them, it's all yours. Pick the one you want. There's even ones that allow you to work through a little wizard. How many columns would you like? Would you like a header? No. What's the background color would you like? And you click a button and it creates the page and gives you the CSS. I mean, this isn't the hard work in CSS. The hard work is when you get into details of placing small things where you want them. But the overall page design is cut and paste for the most part. And I have no problem with you doing that if you want to do that for any of your projects. It's all so long as you understand what the code is doing. That's the important thing. What's interesting, one thing that you wouldn't think of is first off, typically websites have 2 or 3 common templates. A template for the home page. Maybe they'll have a splash page, a welcome page, click here to enter my site. But they'll have a page for the homes page, then they'll have a different template for like the primary header pages, then they'll have a third template for the lowest level detailed pages. And we can see that in FSU. This is obviously one template. As we go into academics, this is a second template. And as we go into a further level of academics, well, we just entered like a whole other website now. They've just gone to a whole other theme here. This is obviously somewhere where that's designed for the people who are considering FSU. You know, so we just kind of left the original template. Let's go over to Office of Graduate Fellowships. Well, this is their website too. Let's go a little deeper. We still haven't gotten to a third. Okay, so here's a third level page. Not much in the way of a banner. You know, it's mostly content. So several different templates going on here. Well, if you were designing a website, which one of those templates would you design first? Well, this kind of tells you, doesn't it? Believe it or not, you know, I would say home. That's where I would start. I would start with the home page. But that's reverse of what you should actually do. You should look at your most detailed pages to see how you're going to put this detail together and then work your way out. So it's almost looking at, you know, reverse through a magnifying glass and then backing up and getting more of a scope and saying, okay, how can I generalize this then into a more general design for my main pages? So they talk about sub-home pages, various homepage techniques. They talk about the importance of a tagline. For instance, Kiva. If you were the owner of Kiva, if you hear the word Kiva, anybody, what would you think that company does? Even if you look at the logo. Looks like maybe they make green tea, spices, I don't know. Kiva? Well, Kiva, loans that change lives. Wow. I don't know if their design goes at all with what their business is, you know. But actually Kiva is this grassroots organization that does microloans to developing countries. So you can say, I want to give somebody in South Africa $15 to start a car wash. That's Kiva. You go there and they'll say, we'll be glad to do that. Actually, you go to Kiva and you can find all type of people in South Africa that are looking for money to start a car wash. You know, and they verify the authentication or the authenticity of the people requesting loans. They follow the loans through and verify that the money is being used properly and all of that kind of stuff. But this is a not-for-profit. That's probably why their website doesn't look like a bank, you know. The chapter talks about putting your important stuff above the fold so that when the person opens up a website, they see everything that's important to see without having to touch the scroll bar. That's the idea. Let's see if our friends at the Art Institute do that. That's certainly above the fold. Pretty much. And when I go down, there's not much more I want to see there, right? And some pages, you know, they try not to have any scroll bars, so everything is on just one page. So depending on your content, that might work. It's part of chunking, right? Chunking your information. Drop-down menus, the author cautions, be careful for accessibility issues. Like I mentioned, if you use drop-downs, make sure to offer a secondary method of navigation. There's role-based navigation. The page that comes to mind for me is Wrangler. And I did a case study on Wrangler's website development. But you can shop by. You a rodeo person? Click here. If you're looking, you know, if you're looking for workwear, you're going out, click here. Hunting and fishing, hanging out. So what do you think they suggest if you're going out? I'm kind of curious, but I can't click. And even what FSU does this, you know, undergraduate, graduate, role-based navigation. Our author hates splash pages. Generally, I don't hate them so much. But his point is, don't put a splash page up there just for eye candy and prettiness. You know, have some purpose of it. We can look at some silly splash pages next time. Good place to start up. Any questions? Don't go yet. What do I have to do? You know what I have to do. John? Yeah. All right. Brittany Ballinger. Zachary Brandiff? Yeah? No. Luke Carta? Zachary D? Laurel? Shamira? No, I guess not. Paul Kafka? Sydney? Michael? Morris? Christina? And Eric's here. Michael Pittman. Jeffy? Bree? Connor? Nicholas? Zachary T? Pedro? Brittany? And Amanda? No. All right, thanks, guys.
For more information about FSU's program in interdisciplinary computing, visit www.pic.fsu.edu.